Hi, welcome back to my YouTube channel. For this video, I want to talk about hypersensitivity. So, I've always been, ever since I was little, hypersensitive. And I would go to school and teachers would complain because they couldn't deal with how emotional I was. I would cry for literally everything or anything. And I was just very emotional, and everything I always perceived very intensely compared to other people, my emotions, my environment, and I was just always overwhelmed with too much stimuli. So the teachers would say, "Oh, your daughter's too sensitive. We need to toughen her up. She needs thicker skin because in the real world, it's not gonna help her be successful." So to me, I felt it was a defect that I had, and I needed to change that about me. And I felt ashamed, and I felt embarrassed to be sensitive compared to other people. And for a long time, those emotions overtook me, and I started to shut down my emotions. And I would just blame myself whenever I felt emotional, and I would try to say, "What's wrong with me? Why do I feel emotions much deeper than other people, and why can't I just be normal like these other people who just go along with their life and they get over situations very quickly?" But whenever a situation, someone said something very hurtful to me or did something very mean, I took it very personally, and it would take me a long time for me to recuperate from that experience compared to other people. So I was just different in the way that I processed certain situations and environments compared to other people. As a highly sensitive person, I was also aware that when I would walk into a classroom or a room or a restaurant or any other place outside, I was able to pick up people's energies and actually feel the type of energy that I was walking into, if it was positive energy or negative energy, and also feel what other people were feeling. So taking on their emotions. And even when people would offer me for advice and offer help and assistance, I would help them, but I wasn't aware of how I was constantly helping energy vampires. And so they would use my empathy and my kindness in order to manipulate me for me to do things for them. So whatever they needed, like money, support, emotional support, I would just listen. As a highly sensitive person, we also have great listening skills. We can sit down with people and actually have them just talk for hours and hours, and we can listen and actually understand, and then we process everything that they told us, and we have a supportive answer to offer them. So it's a great quality to have. But in the Western society, it's seen as a defect, it's seen as a weakness, because kindness and empathy and vulnerability is seen as, don't show that when you go out into the world. You have to be strong and unbothered and tough in order to be considered strong and strength, and seen as a strength. When in reality, being sensitive and vulnerable and emotional, it's a blessing, because we wear our heart on our sleeves, and we are able to actually offer the world a lot more with our sensitivity. We feel what other people feel. We can connect deeply with another person at a much deeper level, and we feel their emotions. We're able to put ourselves in their situation, understand them, and be compassionate and caring, and actually feel their pain. So feel their pain and their struggles, and actually take on their pain and take it away from them, so people can feel better about themselves. And it also attracts a lot of toxic, narcissistic, and selfish and entitled people who want to benefit off of our energy and off of our positivity. So it's actually normal to be hypersensitive, and it can't be changed. So no matter how many people will try to shame you for it and tell you you're too sensitive, you need to toughen up, I was just joking, you can't take a joke, you don't know how to handle anything, and you're overreacting, it's actually normal. So I found that 15 to 20% of the population have this. They're hypersensitive, but it's not understood by the majority of those around you. So that's why empaths and hypersensitive people don't feel like they belong, because people don't operate from their emotions. They operate from their ego or more logical. But we operate with emotions, so we have the emotional intelligence, and it's actually innate as well. So it's found that biologists have found it in over 100 species, and probably there are many more, from fruit flies, birds, fish, to dogs, cats, horses, and primates. This trait reflects a certain type of survival strategy, being observant before acting. The brains of a highly sensitive person, HSPS, actually works a little different than others. To learn more about research. So another thing is we are more aware of the subtle signs in people. So we pick up their body language, their facial expressions, the way that they communicate, their tone of voice, their energy. We know when someone's being sincere when they speak to us, and we know when someone's being fake and hiding their envy or hatred or bitterness behind their words. We see through the facade and the type of deception that people try to fool us with. So, since we process a lot more information and we reflect it more deeply. So we notice certain things in our environment that other people may not even be aware of. We also get easily overwhelmed. So if we noticed everything, we're naturally going to be overstimulated when things are becoming too intense, complex, chaotic, or novel for a long time. Well, let's say you go to a party and the energy is really off and you're just surrounded by toxic, negative energy. That whole energy is going to literally affect you a lot, intensely. And after you leave that place, you're going to feel depleted, exhausted, irritated, frustrated, angry, overwhelmed, anxious. You're going to feel a heightened sense of anxiety and depression. And you're going to need your solitude, your own time alone, so you can recharge all that energy that you lost from interacting with so many people. And let's face it, there's a lot more negative energy surrounding us nowadays than positive energy. So we have to be very frugal and stingy with our energy, because not a lot of people deserve to benefit off of our energy, especially when they're just trying to take advantage of us and use us. Or they're jealous and they're trying to put us down. They don't deserve to have access to the good parts that we offer the world. So to also speak of this, this trait is misunderstood by a lot of people, because hypersensitive people often appear to be very introverted, shy, and shyness is actually learned, not innate. In fact, 30% of hypersensitive people are extroverts. Although the trait is often mislabeled as introversion, it has also been called fearfulness and neuroticism. Some hypersensitive people behave in these ways, but it is not innate to do so, and not the basic trait. So now I also want to talk about why a highly sensitive person has no desire to toughen up, and why we shouldn't change ourselves just because other people find it foreign to them and they don't understand us. We shouldn't change any part of ourselves just because someone finds it overwhelming and finds us to be too much. Don't allow the world to change you, and don't allow people to make you feel like having too much emotions is a bad thing, when in fact, they wish to have the type of empathy that you have, because you attract a lot of people because of your empathy, and they don't, because they're just negative and egotistical and selfish. So my sensitivity was criticized by a lot of people. People would be very harsh against my sensitivity. And I was also quiet, and I still am till this day, but I would get scolded by teachers for being sensitive and not wanting to participate. So certain things that I constantly heard was, you need to suck it up. You're just crying for attention. Other children have it worse than you. But the truth is that we're not crying for attention. In fact, we're crying because we feel things very deeply and we have to process our own emotions. And that's the part of being sensitive. And we honestly don't want to toughen up because it's just part of who we are. And plus, we live in a world that can be hard and cruel. It's a cruel and sensitive place. Bad things happen, we often don't treat each other with as much compassion and understanding as we should. These are the reasons that people usually give for why I should be tougher. It's as if they're saying, you're going to have to face that, and you'll never survive in the way that you are, being sensitive. You need to develop thicker skin. Ironically, though, those are also the reasons I give for wanting to stay like I am. With all the nastiness around, I want to remain something good. I don't want the world to change me. The truth is, I want to keep on being unable to stand the world's cruelty. Because as soon as I develop a thicker skin and can't withstand more, that means I will have to accept it. And accepting means it won't change. No one should get used to it. Of course, there are times when it's healthy for highly sensitive people to manage their emotional reactions, set boundaries, and stop taking the emotional baggage that's not ours to carry. That's not what I'm saying. My biggest frustration is the people who shrug and say, that's the way it is, get used to it. I don't believe that. This is the way it is just to accept it without question and move on. That is because people enable bad behavior. So, the truth is that sensitivity is not a bad thing. And don't allow people to change you or shame you into making you feel that something's wrong with you for being a loving, caring, empathetic person. When they're quite the opposite. They're criticizing you for those beautiful qualities, but they're quite the opposite. They're insensitive, they're selfish, they don't think about other people, they don't care about the well-being of other people and how their actions affect those around them. And so, don't let them gaslight you. Another beautiful quality about highly sensitive people is that we're givers. And that means that we attract a lot of takers. So, empaths attract toxic people, probably more than to speak of. And we give a lot of people our money, our time, and attention and love. But for that reason, we have to be able to discern between those who genuinely care about us and love us and those who just want to benefit off of our gifts and benefit off of who we are and take from us. without giving anything in return. We no longer have to tolerate less than what we give. I really hope this video helped anyone out there, and do not feel bad for being sensitive and being an empath. Don't allow people to shame you or criticize you and tell you you're too sensitive. In fact, you should tell them, well, you don't have the capacity you have a limited capacity to feel your emotions. I'm sorry for you. Because it's true. The only reason they're telling you you're too much because they can't find that abundance that you have. And the things that they criticize about you are your gifts, and those things that you possess within you. That's what's going to cause you to rise above and be different from the ordinary people who are fueled with their ego. And let's understand something. Everyone has an ego. Everyone has an ego, and it's for protection. But some people have become so accustomed to this society that they just operate off of their ego. And they believe that in order for them to become powerful, they have to hurt someone or one-up someone in order to feel important and valuable, when in fact they have very low self-esteem. And someone with low self-esteem always has to harm someone in order to feel like they gained a little bit of confidence again about inside themselves. So don't believe that those evil people who are being mean to you, that they're happy. In fact, they're miserable, and they're living in a state of fear, and that's what causes them to be so judgmental, because they're narrow-minded. They don't see life for more than what it could be. They only see life for what they've experienced. And so we don't need to feel the need to be part of this world. When God gave us a beautiful gift of empathy to change the world and to be the leaders and a healer in this world. So don't ever change yourself. That is your gift, and that is your anointing as well. Being an empath is God's blessing to you. So cherish it. Don't let anyone try to change you in any way. Continue to be a beautiful, loving, empathetic person. Just change who you're good to. The people who don't appreciate it and take advantage of you and treat you really bad, don't be good to them. Just ignore them. Detach yourself away from them. Take back all of that love and all that care and give it to yourself, because you need it too, that self-love and self-care. But also keep in mind that some people are going to actually appreciate and love you for what you do for them and appreciate you, instead of feeling entitled to you and acting like you owe them something, when it's a privilege for you to spare your time and your care for people. And people should start to learn that it's a privilege for you to share those beautiful qualities with other people. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Continue to be yourselves, continue to stay true, and continue to share that beautiful light with the world. Bye.